What's going on, everybody out there? I am Michael, and this is Our Texas Magazine. Today we have a special guest, Carol Pereira. How you doing today?
I'm perfect. I'm happy to be here with you.
All right. Pretty much today's episode, we're gonna get into her life story, what brought her to America. Her journeys in South America, specifically Venezuela, and I don't know what else we're gonna talk about today. But let's get into Miss Pereira. You said you're doing fine today. We're gonna take it from the beginning. You are a journalist from South America. Am I correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. What got you into journalism?
Well, I have to say that since I was a very young little, I just like to communicate. So when I was a girl, I said, okay, I need to speak. I like to talk with people. I like to connect with people. And through the time, I realized that yes, I have like some skills to do that. I began to study at the very beginning. And after 1 year that I began the university, I began to work also in a news channel in Venezuela. And I spent 12 years working in that news channel. So meanwhile, I was studying this journalism career in Venezuela, in my country. I was working, so it was a perfect dynamic to work, to have experience, professional experience, but at the same time to have academic background.
Okay. What university did you go to?
Well, I went to university. At the very beginning was Universidad Santa Maria. There I studied journalism, but after that I studied announcing in La Universidad Central de Venezuela. It's the biggest university in my country. So yes, I spent a lot of time, a lot of years studying those two universities.
Okay. You mentioned that you start working at the same time you started to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at what news station did you work at in Venezuela?
Well, I always compare this. The news channel, the name of the news channel in my country, Venezuela, is Globovisión. It's like CNN in my country. It's just about news. So when I began to work there, I was 18 years old. So can you believe that? It was like a huge war for me. And I said, really, I cannot believe that I'm here by that time. And I began through an internship. So after 12 years, I began from the very bottom, and through the time, I achieved many positions to finish, as I said, and as you know, like a host of the own life magazine, 3 hours daily.
Okay.
So it was an amazing experience.
All right. So roughly, you say you've been in the journalism field. I want to say give or take like 17 years.
A lot because I was 18 and
18,
right now I'm
12,
36.
36. Oh, so okay, yeah,
A
you
lot of years.
a lot of so I didn't want to ask you your age because that
You can do it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's not
so
an issue for me.
all right. 36 started when she was 18. That's 18 years in the journalism game. That
Yes, sir.
that is amazing. Um in Venezuela, what would you say your your best stories was? I remember you was telling me about the Hugo Chavez one.
Right.
Um, let the audience hear a little bit about that one.
Well, after 12 years in my country and the political regime that we have there, we can tell many things and many stories. I Maybe I do have two memorable experience. The first one, as you know, was with the President Hugo Chavez. He passed away 4 years ago, but that system has been in my country for 20 years. So it's a very polemic president. He was a very polemic president, and I remember that interview. He is very charismatic guy. Even though I disagree with everything about him, he was very, very close with people, very kind with people. And when you ask question to him, even though you know that he was lying, for example, that that position, his position, he shows credibility. And we said, really? This is maybe a strategy of any politics around the world, but he did, and he was a very good experience. And my second memorable experience in journalism was when I interviewed Ernesto Sabato. Ernesto Sabato is an Argentine writer. He passed away also. I interviewed him in his house in Santos Lugares in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So it was amazing because he's a reference in literature. So it was great.
All right. Um, can you let our listeners know? Describe Venezuela and the political climate there at this time.
Right.
I know a little bit of it because I know it was a very big oil um oil crisis going on.
Right.
But could you give a slight insight into
Of
that for
course.
me?
Yes. I can tell you first about the amazing country that I live before. Venezuela is the most rich country in South America. Venezuela is located in very north of South America. We have 32 millions of people. This is our population. It's like Texas population. So can you believe Venezuela is super small because it has the same population than Texas. Um, we have our biggest tool and resources, which is the petróleo in Spanish. So the governments far, far away always have everything to do with this oil, with the petroleum. So when this system began was 20 years ago. And of course, this government at the very beginning was like a hope, was something that people want because we need a change by the time. We are talking about 1999. But through the time, we realized that it was not a democracy. It's a system based on socialism, and everything that you can do with the government, you are okay. But that time that you disagree about the government, you are an enemy. So it's complicated. So far, we have scarcity, we have poverty, we have a lot of political people who are in jail right now. So everything that you can refuse about the government, that is a big issue. And of course, after 20 years, we can say that the poverty in my country is around 85%. And we are the richest country around the world. So it's ironic. It's super complicated.
Okay. Yes, we're back on our Texas magazine. We had to take a pause for the calls because Carolina had a photo shoot, a very long photo shoot with Daniel. Jesus, I can't pronounce Daniel's last name. I'm American. That's sad.
Lenoir.
Lenore. There we go. With
Uh-huh.
Daniel Lenore. Y'all go look up Daniel Lenore photography. He's a great photographer. But let's go back to this interview, and I don't know where we left off. So we left off with you. You talked about the two interviews that you did.
Right. We spoke about that, but also we talk about the situation in my country.
Yeah, the situation in the country. I I look at news every now and again. I think it was Vice, and I seen it was food drops going on, and people were it's a food shortage,
Yes.
and I was like, with a country that rich with oil or petroleum,
Mm-hmm.
and they are having these issues, I'm like, what is really going on? You said, in your opinion, socialism
Mm-hmm.
is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's affecting the quality of life in Venezuela.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree about that position, and it is. I do believe that we have to huge and tremendous enemies in my country. The first one is the corruption. We have a lot of corruption in my country based on socialism. And the second enemy, of course, is the oil, because if you don't have the skill and capacity to manage that in an effective way, of course, you have had those problems that we have right now in my country. So, yes, the numbers about poverty, scarcity, and inflation, like many things, is consequence of the system right now in my country. So, for example, the migration from my country to other countries like Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, and also United States is unprecedented. We have never seen this type of migration around continent. And I can tell you, Venezuelan community right now is the second country who has asked for asylum here in the United States. It's the second country. So of course we have a crisis without precedent in my country. We don't have this background in Venezuela. So yes, is concerned. We are concerned about this situation. But also I think that nothing, it can take a lot of years.
Okay. We're gonna move on, fast forward in the story a little bit, and you had it all in Venezuela. And you decided to give it up and start fresh from the bottom.
Super fresh.
Super fresh from the bottom, coming to America as an immigrant.
Uh-huh.
What made you come to that decision
Oh my
to
goodness.
come to America and to leave everything behind where you were the woman and
Yeah.
just start off as a regular nobody again?
I have to be honest. Do you want to know?
Yes, we want to know.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have to be honest. The main reason to leave everything in my country and to come to the United States was love.
Love, okay.
I came here with my ex-boyfriend. Right now, we are not together. But that time, yes, he began to organize everything and said, we can move to the United States, we can study English, we can maybe analyze the situation, and we can stay there with as a professional career. And I was not sure because, as you know, I have this television program, and I was a teacher for 12 years in la Universidad Central de Venezuela. So I taught television and announcing, and I had my apartment and my family, my friends, everything. So it was complicated. And also to came to this country with 33, 34 years, is complicated because we have experience, we have background, we have expectations, we have everything. But yes, about your question, I came to this country for love because my ex-boyfriend said we can do that together in that country.
Now, wait a minute. You said love. Now,
Uh-huh.
they always say being in love is a step away from being crazy. And, that seems like a crazy move
It
to
was.
give up everything
It was.
in the name of love and come out fresh when you had everything right there at your picking.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm very rational. I'm very rational. But by that time, we had this relationship for 4 years.
Okay.
So it was not something new. I have shared a lot with this person, and yes, we said, okay, we can analyze. We can go just for 1 year, and we can check, and after that, we can decide. And well, I did. But after I arrived to this country, after I came to this country, everything changed. And after 4 months that I came to this country, that love began to disappear. And I said, oh my goodness, I don't have nothing. I don't have love. I don't have boyfriend. I don't have my country. I don't have people here that I know. So for that reason was super complicated to be an immigrant and with an initial plan. And after a
and,
short time,
and
you
that
don't
plan,
have that.
everything went up in smoke. You had the idea, you had it. You know what I'm saying? You had the idea. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this, and you just came and everything just went.
Was it was overwhelming. It was crazy for me. Crazy because everything that I had in my mind, it was not there. And I said, okay, you have to figure it out, girl. You have to figure it out. What do you want to do with your life right now? Because you don't have nothing. You don't have, by that time, your career here because I couldn't find a job in my career. And I didn't have no one around me that I knew. And it was complicated. The only thing that I said, and I was grateful, was because I was studying an intensive English program. So I was learning English. But yes, so it was hard times. It was a very hard time.
Okay. And you like you said, you started at the bottom,
Yeah.
and you started to go to school, and like you
Mm-hmm.
said, and I don't want to misquote you. You said it took like 2 to 3 years
Oh my goodness.
for you to, I don't want to say bounce back, but to find your way
Right.
from nothing to the road of achieving success.
Right.
How does that feel? And to anybody else listening out there, either when you're American or you're immigrant from another country,
Yeah.
did know what I'm saying? Is the American dream true to you? Does that exist from the path you've been on for these past 3 years?
Yes, it is. And I can tell you, even though my perception, my case is different because I didn't come to this country to get the American dream. I have to say that after 2, 3 years working hard, studying hard, being grateful, connecting with people, we can do that because the United States is a country of opportunities. If you want to work, if you want to get something, you can do it. Always with respect, always being grateful with people. But this is an amazing nation, and we can move on. We can do it. And I tell you this as an immigrant. We can do it, even though you are right now with in a very hard time. Believe me, I was there, and you can move on. Just you have to study, you have to work hard, you have to be grateful, and of course to connect. If you meet people, you can connect with others, and your circle will be bigger and bigger. But we can do it, of course. American dream is here.
Networking, folks. She says you have to network.
Yeah,
Network makes your net worth.
it's true. It's true.
All right. Also, you being a journalist
Mm-hmm.
in a male dominated field, and with the recent, I want to say Me Too stuff going on. Have you ever had to deal with a situation where you had a male coworker, try to use, how can I say, sexual things to help you advance, and how did you deal with that?
Well, I can tell you, I have never had
Okay.
those type of situation.
Oh,
Never. Maybe because in my country, we are more close with people. Maybe if you said mi amor or something like that in my country, it's natural. There is
okay.
nothing wrong. We can touch people like in your back, in your hand. It's like, hey, hello, very, very charismatic, and there is nothing wrong about that.
Okay.
So, no, I have never experienced that time of situation. Maybe, Michael, maybe once I was with a guy and he tried to do something, But I was super clear, and he stopped, and he never tried again to do that.
Because with you, what you give off, you're a beautiful lady,
I thank you.
but you have that aura about yourself. It's like I'm a professional at all times,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe. No, I'm saying it's just my thing. Why people or why somebody wouldn't try that with you, because you carry yourself in a certain way.
Right.
Yeah,
But even though you can say, okay, those are the rules,
yeah,
and I'm here, but I think 95% of the case, I have never talked about that.
yeah.
We know that, and just in a very specific times, if I can like deal with that, I will be very clear. As I have been always in my life.
Okay. Next question.
Oh my goodness,
Okay.
really? I'm scared.
Oh,
Okay,
all right.
can I
Let
do this?
Sure you can do that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Our next question. Latinos in media.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you feel like the Latino population is, or the Latino media subset uh, is at this time? When it comes to media.
Well, I have to tell you, I think Americans or Latino, we have the same skills to do something. So, of course, the Latino community here in the United States is growing and growing in a very fast time, in a very fast way. So, we have, as a Latino community, very good people in media. And that plus that I have always talked is about we are bilingual. And if you are bilingual and if you have skills to communicate, well, you can be a reference. And we know as Latino, for example, here in the United States, we know Jorge Ramos. Jorge Ramos is a journalist, a huge journalist. He's from Mexico and he works in one of the biggest media station here because we have Telemundo and Univision. And of course, his main platform is Spanish, but he can communicate perfectly in English. So if we can have those bilingual skills, but also you can communicate, and also you have this journalism like platform, we can do a pretty good job. And it's the same. If American can speak English and Spanish, well, that is a huge plus, right?
Right. C. I'm learning. I'm learning Spanish right now. C. C. Right. C. Yes. So
They are asking, who is
Oh,
Michael?
who am I?
This interview, Michael, say for my
Okay.
Instagram.
All right. This is Our Texas Magazine, ran by Jamel Berry, and I'm filling in for him today. I'm interviewing Carol. I'm so appreciative that
Thank
she
you.
took out the time to tell her story to the audience. And basically, with Our Texas Magazine, we interview people from Texas that whether black, white, Latin, little person, alien, that's on the verge or uh, is that person in their field. And I felt like Carol is she's bubbling right now. She's right here at the top and getting ready to overflow into the media field. So
Thank you. I really
yeah,
appreciate it, Michael.
I'll say not a problem, not a problem.
I really appreciate it. This is his podcast. So we are here. Estamos ahorita en su podcast. So this is amazing. So keep going. I will do these answers for you.
Yeah, I'm to her audience out there. I'm trying to maybe get Curl Home podcast, maybe uh, to let so she can get out her feelings, how she feel about stuff daily. But we're gonna work that out. We're gonna work that out soon.
Yes, we will.
All right. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have next up in the makings? in your career?
Okay, well, I'm teaching right now, so this is amazing because I was a teacher for 12 years in my country, as you know. So here to return to this field is is a blessing, you know. But yes, if you ask me what is the next step, is to try to work in another like American company in this communication area because it will be amazing after study this associate's degree in radio, television, and film with you. Um, this is a perfect experience, you know, because you will achieve a degree in English in the United States. So it's a huge opportunity to learn, to communicate, and to be better in English because this is our challenge for us as a Latino, as an immigrant. To communicate properly in English in this area is complicated. So that is my next step. First, to connect more with Latino people because I'm an immigrant, and that is my message. My message is I'm an immigrant, I move on, I have worked a lot like you, and we can get anything that we want, but also to be better in your complicated language. It's super
Yeah.
complicated, you know that.
Hey, it's complicated. I speak somewhat, Texan, Ebonics. I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what we're gonna end in with this interview. I'm gonna ask you about the political climate in this country.
Uh-huh. Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, yeah. And how do you feel about it? And what would you like to see happen?
Well, if you ask me about the situation in this country, I can tell you that it's complicated. And it's complicated because Americans vote for everything that's happening right now in this country.
I actually voted for Gary Johnson.
I know, I know. But I have to say, like, the majority
Yeah,
did that. So if you ask me, I think the United States is a country of based on immigrants. I think United States is a country of opportunities. I agree that this country can be better and better, but also this country can be better and better with immigrants, not without immigrants. Um, I can tell you, I think if you see, oh, this system sees something wrong about many people, they have the right to say, you know, you have to come back to your country. But if they realize that we as an immigrant, we have done many things and many good things, it should be nice to have more opportunities to be strong in this country with a teamwork because that is about the nation to be a teamwork. So I just can tell you about this country, about the future of this country, as you asked me like 2 minutes ago. I don't know about the future, but I can tell you there are so many Americans that they work a lot, that they admire, respect, they believe in diversity. And my perception is diversity is the main gift, the main thing about us as human beings. And that is everything that I can say about your country.
Okay, this is your country too. I mean, hey, you know,
Thank you. I really appreciated
this is
this.
this is a melting pot, and like you said, teamwork makes the dream work.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I have one last question for you.
Oh my goodness. Look that face.
One
Uh-huh.
one last question. How do you feel about Latinos who support Donald Trump?
Okay.
Now you don't have to answer it.
Okay. I don't or I do?
Either one.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I can say that we have the capacity and the right to say, I want this guy, I choose this guy or another guy. That is a right, individual right. But I just can say, we as an immigrant and as a Latino, we can say, okay, this guy or this president has a lot of good things, advantage and good characteristic, and okay. But we can say this guy has done things that can affect Latino community. So if you ask me, we as a Latino, we can say this guy has done good things, but I disagree about his perception. For me, in my mind, I cannot deal that Latinos can support this Mr. this president.
You know what? And I love the way she answered that. She answered that so politically correct, without you know what I'm saying, without stepping on toes. And I love that about her. That shows she has media training.
Oh, yes, it's true. I have learned. I have learned a lot. Thank you.
But other than that, Carol, I appreciate you coming on the show. Anytime you want to stop by, you are welcome. And
Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity to communicate in English. As an immigrant, I know it's complicated, but I want to say super thanks, Michael.
I'll say not a problem. I appreciate it. And this has been another episode of Our Texas Magazine. We will get Mr. Barry on his show, because this is his show, sometime in the future when he wants me, but I think he just wants me to do it. So, but it's not a problem. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Carol for coming. I want to
Thank
thank
you.
Isaac for just chilling the cut.
Yes.
But other than that, hey, next show, another time, and we're out. Thank you again.
Thank you.